Hello, dear. It's Heather, and you're watching Save Today with Heather J. I am somebody who has spent her entire adult life living paycheck to paycheck and being one life event away from financial crisis. And that has to stop. I have reached the point in my life where I cannot continue to move along like that. And so I've created a budget so that I have something to follow and stick to and can get my bad debt paid off and I can get some savings set ahead. Then I can purchase some of the large ticket items I want. Part of why I'm on this journey is to just build better behaviors. I want to no longer have debt. I want to have savings to account for and adjust to those life events. And I have some kind of large ticket items I'd like to purchase at some point in my life. Some of those things I've been wanting for years and never have had the opportunity to find a way to get that. And there are some things that, kind of ebb and flow and move in and move out. I need to be able to live life and not just exist through life. And so we've created this budget. We're going to stick to it. Today's video is going to be my July month setup. July will be my third month that I have started this journey, and I'm sharing this journey with you. So I'm still very, very early in this journey. I still have lots and lots of mistakes I'm going to make. And honestly, if I'm on this journey for 5 years, I fully expect to continue to make mistakes and have to readjust. I have a lifetime of poor behaviors that are not just going to go away. We are who we are. There are things that are ingrained. There are things that are easy to do, and there are things that are always going to be a challenge. So here we are facing our challenges head on. Again, today's video is going to be my July monthly setup. And this is my third attempt trying to film this video. I once again began having some storage issues in my phone and my SD card in my video capabilities. I am not somebody who is technologically strong. I really struggle with those things. So in addition to learning about budgeting, learning about my behaviors, I also am needing to learn about the technology. And it's challenging and frustrating, but I think I have figured out the problem, and so I'm going to continue moving on. Because this is the third time I'm attempting this video, I've already ended up filling in everything. Now, in my monthly setups, I do start with my calendar, and I typically try to fill that out on screen with you guys, and that has been filled out already for us, again, when I attempted this video previously. So let's just get into what I have. For me, the month of July is going to be from June 30th to July 27th. And so that's 2 paychecks. I get paid on June 30th and July 14th. And then when I get paid again on July 28th, that is my first paycheck in August. So let's go ahead and see what we've got here. My very first thing is my rent is due on the first of the month. My rent is $850. Let me see if I can't get some of this sun glare off that page. Could that help any? What if I go this other way? Let's see. That helps some. Still have a little bit of sun glare there. So my rent is $850. I do have that set up to auto draft on the first, which is a $3 service fee. So my rent is budgeted at $853. Then this next week, I don't actually have any bills coming out the week of the 2nd to the 8th. Let's see what I've got going on this next week. On the 10th, I have... So if you watched my last video, or maybe my last 2 videos, you will know that because of some life events that came up in June, I did not pay my June phone bill. I made payment arrangements for that to be taken care of in July. And on the 10th, I have that first payment when I set up a payment arrangement, I have the option of 1 or 2 times to pay it. And so I chose to use the 2 times. And then you have an option of how much each time from a 50-50 split. And I did choose to do the very minimum I could on the 10th, which was the first payment date option they gave me. And that's $47.30. And then I get paid again on the 14th here. And then on the 15th, again, if you watched my last couple of videos, you will know that maybe I should change it and stop saying if you watched the last videos. I had 2 credit cards I was paying off, 2 credit cards that became bad debt over a year ago. One I had paid off in like January, I believe, and the other I just paid off in June. Well, in June, just like literally days, maybe a week after I had paid off my last credit card, maybe 2 weeks after I paid off my last credit card, I found out that the first one that I thought had been paid off months and months and months ago was not actually paid off. So that was a very discouraging setback for me. But I did make those payment arrangements and set that up to begin being paid off here in July. And then I have a monthly payment set up for the 15th of the month until that's paid off again. And what happened was I had set up that credit card initially for 3 large payments and on a certain date and set to come out of a certain account. And on one of those payments, I think that's middle one, I called the bank and asked them if they could take it from a different account on a different day. And that was quite some time ago, so I don't remember exactly. I do know it got paid in that month, but I think I pushed it off about 4 more days till the next paycheck was coming up. And in calling and asking them to change that, they said yes, and they took it out and it wasn't a problem. But apparently, when you do that, you are changing the terms of your agreement. You are canceling your contract. I was unaware of that. I had never ever known that that was a thing that happens. Nobody let me know when I was calling to make those arrangements that that was a thing that was going to happen. And apparently, when they read you that disclosure, those of you who've had to set up payment arrangements know what I'm talking about. When they say, you know, and they'll like do their little spiel at the end and you have to say, yes, I agree. That is a verbal contract that they record and they're putting you in for, and you cannot make any changes like that. Even though I paid it within that month, by changing the bank account and by pushing it back 3 days, changed the terms of my agreement and canceled that agreement, unbeknownst to me. So I'm letting you know, in case that's something you've never known before and might find yourself in that situation again. So all of that being said, on the 15th, I do have my first payment towards that credit card for, in the month of July, it's just $50. I had so many other things going on this month that I needed that to be the minimum possible, and then I'm preparing for larger payments until that's paid off. And then what do I have? On the 16th, I have a subscription for $10.82. And then on the 17th, I have my regular phone bill. So this will be July's phone bill at $236.51. I do also have a U-Haul payment for $97.99. And again, I have all of my possessions are in storage boxes by U-Haul in another state on the other side of the country. And I have 3 boxes. They are $97.99 each per month. I have one that comes out on the 17th and one that comes out on the 28th. In the month of July, because the 28th of June was here, the 28th of July is actually not in this month. I actually only have this U-Haul bill, this one box for $97.99. The other 2 that are due on the 28th will actually be in August's budget. And then here on the 19th, I have the last portion of my payment arrangement for my June phone bill, and that's $189.21. Then on the 22nd, I have my utilities. Now the way my utilities get billed, I'm brand new to this state, and because I'm brand new to this state, I'm brand new to this utilities company. When you're a brand new customer, they want a deposit from you, and the deposit they want here is $350. I don't yet have $350 sitting in my account to just give away and have be gone for X amount of time. And so I have not made that payment arrangement. What then happens is my utilities get billed to the landlord pays that, and then I pay the landlord. And what has been happening is I will get an email that's got my bill on it, and then I will fit that into my budget. So in June, I received this utility bill, and now I'm paying that in July. But what happens is by the time I actually get around to paying that, by the time that pay period comes up, I will have received the next bill. And so this month in July, what I've decided I'm going to attempt to do is to estimate what's coming up, which is fairly normal in these budgeting channels. People tend to estimate what the next bill is going to be because they are aware that that is going to come at some point in their billing cycle. So what I have done is I have taken my June number and doubled it. So again, what I owe for June is $131.31 plus that $20 service fee plus a $1.75 to get my money order. So I have taken that $153.06 and doubled that to give me an estimate of $306.12 for my utilities. And then in this next week, oh, that's it. That's all of the bills that I have that are fixed expenses, that are bills that need to come out this month. So then what I do after I set up my budget is after I set up my calendar, then I go through and set up my budgets based by my paychecks. And for me, the calendar needs to be the thing that happens first, because I need to know ahead of time as I'm writing out these estimates when these are really going to fall, what paycheck they're going to fall in. And in an example like this, where the 28th of the month falls here and isn't in my actual billing or paycheck month, I need to know that ahead of time. This $197.98 that would otherwise be due isn't going to be here. So I need that to not show up in this part of my budgeting over here. So that's why I always start with this calendar. I don't start with this estimate and then go back to my calendar, because I need it to match up before I even get started. So what I do when I do these setups, my monthly setup and my paycheck setups, is I start with my income, then my fixed expenses, then my flexible expenses, and then I just kind of go over those totals and see where I'm going to finish out that. I am an hourly employee, not salary. I get paid, I just received a very small raise, so I now get $20.85 an hour. I estimate for these 38 hours a week. I am a full-time employee, and with my company, full-time is anywhere from 32 to 40 hours a week. There are periods of time where I'm closer to the 32-hour spectrum, and now there's periods of time where I'm closer to the 40 hours of the spectrum. And right now I'm running closer to the 40. I estimate 38 hours because it's rare that I'm exactly 40 on the button. But right now it's not very frequent that I'm below 38. I want to make sure when I'm doing my estimate that I don't estimate so large. If I estimated exactly 40 hours and I only got 36, then I'm going to be missing some money. I want to make sure that I'm very, very close, but just slightly under in my estimate here, so that I don't cause myself some greater financial distress at the end of the month. So for my monthly setup, I have $20.85 an hour times 38 hours times 4 weeks, take away 25% for taxes. And when I do that, what I'm left with is $2,376.90. That's what I'm estimated to make in this my month of July. I do have this other line here, and I don't have the expectation to ever have a consistent other. I don't have a second job. I don't get child support. I don't have any investments that I would be receiving quarterly or monthly payments on. I don't even know how that works. I've never had that. It's never been an option. But I do have this other line in case anything shows up. I have taxes. I get taxes back. Sometimes I get birthday or Christmas money that I may choose to include within my budget and get some bills and things paid off with that. And things could change. There could be a situation where I begin to work a second job. And I want to have room within my budget for that. I don't want to be trying to squeeze that in kind of at the end. I want to make space for that. In this month, I'm hoping I'll be able to cash all of my tax checks and get my U-Haul stuff sent to me. And if I end up doing that, it will show up here in this other line. But for this estimate, my income is $2,376.90. Then with my fixed expenses, as we just saw when we went over the calendar, you know, I don't necessarily need to cover all of this because we've just gone over that. I have my rent for the $853. I have my utilities for the $306.12. I have my phone. So June's bill and July's bill is $473.02. And my credit card payment at $50, my subscription at $10.82. And my U-Haul box at $97.99, which leaves my fixed expenses $1,790.95. I'm really hoping that I can get my U-Haul boxes sent to me this month. Now, I also said that last month, so at this point I'm not making any kind of an absolute claim. It's still just a hope, but it is my hope that I can get my taxes in cashed and get my U-Haul shipped to me before this payment is due on the, was that the 16th or the 17th? The 16th. Now, I don't know how realistic that is, but that is my hope. It is my hope that I can add my taxes here and have the entire shipping and movers be adjusted in here at the end when I do this at the end of the month. But if not, then this is what gets paid if my hopes don't come to fruition. So then we're going to go over my flexible spending. And for me, my flexible spending is groceries, dining out, transportation, art, and miscellaneous. Those are the things that I have kind of more control over. Those can ebb and flow based on what funds are available, based on where I go to buy my supplies, and if I buy my supplies at all. So for my groceries, I budget $110 a week, and this is a 4-week month. So that's $440. I do need to increase this budget, but this month this budget's too tight for me to increase it. But this $110 a week is not being enough to for me to feel comfortable. I do need a little bit more in this budget. My dining out, I have $0 budgeted in this entire 4 weeks. Now, I don't know how realistic that's going to be for myself, because dining out is a challenge. If I'm being honest, it's likely that I'll end up in the 4 weeks at some point getting something that is considered dining out. But I don't have the funds in the budget to make that. I don't have the funds in there. So anything I do that's dining out is going to be sacrificed somewhere else. So there's no funds in the budget for that. There isn't. Transportation, I have estimated I'm going to need to fill the car up 4 times within this. So basically once a week, I'm going to need to fill up the car. There may be a 5th payment in this 4-week month just based on the amount of driving that happens in there. So I estimate basically $37.90 a fill up. Gas has gone down since the last time I really looked at what the gas prices were, but I base this estimate on $3.79 a gallon. And then I do take the bus to work on a lot of days, which is $1 each day. And so that is figured into this 160. We'll see how that carries out. Then I have my art and my miscellaneous. Both of those I have estimated no money for this month. There isn't any money that I can fit that into the budget. And again, anything I spend here is going to be sacrificing something here. The project I'm going to be working on this month, I don't think I'm going to need to buy anything else for. I think because this project has been in the works for so long that I have all of the things I'm going to need for that. And we'll see how that carries through as we get to the end of the month. But that means my estimate, or my flexible spending, is estimated to be $600. And clearly that's an extremely tight estimation. So as we carry over the final numbers, my income at $2,376.90, take away my fixed expenses at $1,790.95, and my flexible spending at $600, leaves me at the end of this month negative $14.05. So as I'm budgeting this, even though things are really, really tight in here, I still am coming out negative. I'm not going to finish negative. I'm going to have to sacrifice some stuff in here. Well, also, I do try and I'm hoping this $14.05 ends up showing up in my wages. That's the differential there. But it's likely that things are not going to go very smoothly for me this month, and that there's going to be some give and take that happens in this budget. If I have to make adjustments, where I see options for flexibility is in this phone bill and in the utilities. I absolutely have to pay the arrangement I made to pay June's phone bill, but I might have to adjust and make arrangements for July's phone bill and either pay part of that, or that is an area I may have to make some adjustments in this month. Also, my utilities, I may have to pay just the one that I already have in there and pay the other one later, or pay part of the other one later. I'm not sure, but those are the two bills I might be able to make some adjustments in if I have to. And I don't know, obviously I don't know that I have to. If I knew that I had to, I would already have that adjusted in. But I am setting this budget up very optimistically that things are going to go smoothly, that I'm going to have the wherewithal to not go out to eat, that nothing random is going to come up at all that's going to fall under this miscellaneous category. And I know going into this that life does not happen that smoothly. So we'll see how it carries out, how I end up having to go make adjustments for that. Then, so I'm done with my June monthly budget setup. And if that's all you're here for, I want to thank you for joining me, and you have a wonderful afternoon. But for myself, I do always go over a project at the end of these videos. And for July, I have set up a Christmas in July project that I've been working on. And so that is this here. This is a stocking I'm working on. And as you can see, I've been working on this stocking since 2014. Now, when I started this, everything went very smoothly, and then I got hung up on a portion of this project that really, really kicked my tail, and then it got set aside an awful lot. So this style of kind of piecing and patching and sewing on the seams, this is called Crazy Quilt. Crazy quilting is something I had seen and really liked the look of. I felt like it was like the epitome of feminine quilting. This is something that originated, I believe, in the 1800s as a way for young girls and women to practice and show off their their stitching skills, because women of a certain class were expected to only do these handcrafts and not cook or clean or do anything. So they spent a lot of time working on this, and these Crazy Quilt, these small little patches, were a way for them to practice and show off their stitching. But there's something about that style that really just drew me, and there was, in one of my quilting classes, somebody was teaching a crazy quilt class, and their project was a stocking. And I took that class and I made my daughter a stocking, and it turned out so fabulous, and it was so much fun to do, and it really just blew my expectations out of the water. And so this that I'm working on here is a Christmas stocking for my son. And I have opted, because I did put the name on there, I've opted to cover that up just for some privacy's sake. But all of these different stitches and beads and baubles and things like this, my son really likes The Nightmare Before Christmas, and asked me to make a Nightmare Before Christmas themed stocking for him. And so that's where I was going with this. And so that's why we have flames, and we have snakes, and we have skeletons, and we have a lot of Halloween colors in this Christmas stocking. And this was really a lot of fun. When I did the name, I spelled it with Fimo clay, and I made it kind of look like barbed wire, where it's that gray color and it's really spiky. And this little piece of ribbon here with these stitches around it is designed to look like some barbed wire. So I have a very like scary, creepy themed Christmas stocking, and I absolutely love it. But where I got hung up was in making the Jack Skellington, the main character of The Nightmare Before Christmas, for those of you who've not seen it. Can't imagine anybody not having seen it. But I made a Fimo clay skeleton, and I have his arms and his legs are fully articulated, where I had made the leg bones, and I have them joined with jump rings with inside that. I have his little feet. You know, that's my fabulous art skills there with his little feet. And his little hands. I don't know how well those show up on there. And so the Fimo clay was fairly easy to work with. Where I struggled and where I kept coming up against challenges that stopped me over and over and over again, about 6 times since 2014, was actually making this jacket. This jacket, I wanted his pants and jacket to look like a pinstripe suit. And I could not get the jacket put together. Obviously, these are some very small seams that we're working with here. Things weren't going out together well. And so that's where I got hung up. I think I have fixed that at this point. I have his jacket on and in a way that I really like. I'm going to take this piece of ribbon, and again, I'm just going to bring this up here to cover his name, but I'm going to just take this little piece of something in here and kind of maybe do this and have that be like his little, whatever, doublet or whatever that's called. And then I have this little red bow tie that's going to go on there. So I'm fairly close to being done with that. The idea with this, because I've only got this leg, only goes to here. And the idea was that I wanted him to be kind of coming out of the flames and then have this little leg be bent up and stitched here on this hill. The scene, the opening scene in the Nightmare Before Christmas shows Jack Skellington standing kind of on this mountain hill that curls out from underneath him with the moon shining behind him. So I wanted him to essentially be attached kind of like this, and then attached up along this side over here, and where he's kind of coming out of that hillside like he is in there. So that is what I'm working on for the month of July. I'm doing a Christmas in July project, and that should just take me through, and fingers crossed I'll be done with this. I'm fairly close now. I just need to close this up, get a few things done here, get the backing and the lining sewn on this, and then I do have this lovely black ruff that gets to be at the top here. So this, when it's all said and done, is going to turn out really fun. And I'm because of this channel, because of working with you, and because I finally got this jacket figured out, I feel like this will be done by the end of the month. So that is the project we'll be working on in July, and I thank you for joining me. One of the things you may have picked up on already is that each of these projects I'm doing right now are not a start to finish project. So far, they're all finishing other projects that have been started a long time ago. And for those of you who are watching this and aren't yet crafters or tradespeople, it's very common to, especially in the quilting industry, and I assume in other industries, I know apparel sewing that comes up a lot. I assume also in painting and woodworking and things, where there are projects that just get set aside and you have what's called works in progress or unfinished objects, UFOs. So I have a lot of those here. That's what I have with me. That is what I chose to take when I had just a very limited amount of room in my car when I was moving, because again, all my possessions are still packed. So I do have things to start projects, just not with me. What I have with me is projects that need to be finished, and that was on purpose when I was packing, long before this channel ever was thought of. So that's where I'm at, and in all honesty, I probably have a good 50 projects that I could do that way, that I'm finishing that up here on the channel. Also, the projects I tend to work on tend to be very elaborate, and so I wouldn't expect to be able to start and finish a project in a 4-week time frame here on video. Between working full-time and running the household, my available time to work on something like this is very limited. At the end of the day, when I'm not too tired, and you know, all the things that happen from work, to sit down and get a long stretch of anything done, that only happens a couple of times, you know, maybe one day a week, where I have 3 or 4 hours at a stretch. Most of the time it's, you know, 45 minutes to an hour. Anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what we'll be working on, and I thank you for joining me along this journey, and for being the encouragement I need to push through my budget and to push through my craft. Thank you for joining me today, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Please have some fun. Bye-bye now.